Your kitchen counter is clean. Your trash is emptied. You just wiped everything down an hour ago. So why are there still flies landing on your cutting board, circling your sink, hovering near the window? Because you're fighting the wrong battle. Every fly you see represents hundreds of eggs and larvae hidden in places you're not looking. This isn't about better pest control products. It's about redesigning your home so flies can't establish breeding sites in the first place. No toxic chemicals, no endless maintenance. Just a system that removes the invitation and breaks the cycle before it starts. Here's what most people miss about fly infestations. They don't start with flies invading from outside. They start with conditions inside your home that turn every room into a breeding ground. You're rinsing dishes, but leaving them stacked in the sink overnight. You're taking out the trash, but ignoring the film coating the inside of the bin. You're wiping counters, but missing the splash zone behind your stove. You're running your garbage disposal, but never flushing the drain lines. Each of these creates an invitation, and flies respond faster than you can imagine. Think about it. A single female housefly lays up to 500 eggs in her lifetime. Those eggs hatch within 24 hours. The larvae feed for 3 to 5 days, then pupate. 7 to 10 days after the eggs are laid, you have adult flies. If you're only killing the adults you see while leaving the breeding conditions untouched, you're fighting a battle you'll lose every single time. The adults are just the visible 5%. The other 95% are eggs and larvae hidden in organic matter you're not addressing. This is where step 1 becomes critical. Eliminate food and water sources. Not just the obvious ones, all of them. Start in your kitchen. Every piece of food goes into airtight containers. Not loose boxes, not twist-tied bags. Glass or plastic containers with sealing lids. Flies detect food through packaging you think is secure. Your fruit bowl needs to be empty or covered. Overripe bananas sitting on the counter are fly magnets. Either refrigerate them or compost them immediately. Now let's talk about your trash. You're emptying the bin, but are you cleaning it? Every time you throw away something with liquid or food residue, some of it coats the inside of that bin. That coating decomposes. It creates odor. It attracts flies. Once a week, take that bin outside and scrub it with hot soapy water. Rinse it completely. Let it dry in the sun. If you're using trash bags, make sure they're not torn. Even a small tear leaks enough odor to signal flies from across your yard. Here's the reality. Your kitchen sink and garbage disposal are breeding hotspots most people ignore completely. Food particles get trapped in the drain lines. They form biofilm. Flies, especially drain flies, lay eggs directly in that biofilm. The larvae thrive there, protected and fed, until they emerge as adults right inside your home. The fix is simple. Once a week, bring a pot of water to a rolling boil. Pour it slowly down every drain in your kitchen. Follow it with half a cup of white vinegar. Let that sit for 10 minutes, then flush with cold water. This breaks down biofilm and kills eggs before they hatch. It costs almost nothing. But most people never do it because they don't understand the mechanism. Moisture control matters just as much as food removal. Flies need water to survive and reproduce. You're creating water sources without realizing it. That dish sponge sitting in a puddle by the sink, it's wet, it's warm, it's organic material breaking down. Flies love it. After you finish dishes, wring out the sponge completely and store it in a dry spot or hang it to air out. Your sink itself needs to be dried after every use. Wipe down the basin and the area around the faucet. Eliminate standing water anywhere in your kitchen. Check under your sink. Leaky pipes create damp environments where flies breed. Tighten any loose connections. Replace worn washers. If you see water stains or smell mildew, you've found a breeding site. Fix the leak, clean the area with disinfectant, and keep it dry going forward. Pet food is another overlooked attractant. If you leave food in your pet's bowl all day, you're feeding flies as much as you're feeding your pet. Establish feeding times. Put food down, let your pet eat, then remove the bowl and wash it. Don't leave it sitting with food exposed. Pet water bowls need daily changes and cleaning. Stagnant water develops biofilm. Biofilm attracts flies. Your countertops look clean, but are they? You wipe them down after cooking, but you're using the same sponge or cloth you used yesterday, which is now carrying bacteria and food particles. That's just spreading residue around. Use fresh cleaning cloths or disposable wipes. Focus on the areas you don't usually think about. Behind the toaster, under the coffee maker, the gap between your stove and counter, the backsplash where grease splatters accumulate. These spots collect organic material. Flies find them even when you don't see them. But here's where it gets interesting. Step 1 isn't a one-time cleanup. It's a shift in daily habits. You've just removed 80% of the attraction. No food sitting out, no moisture collecting, no organic residue in hidden spots, no trash film, no drain buildup. You've eliminated the triangle that draws flies in: food, water, and warmth. Now let's close the doors they're using to enter. Most people assume flies come in through open doors. Some do. But the majority are entering through entry points you don't notice because you're not looking for them. Step 2 is about sealing those points systematically. You're creating a physical barrier that forces flies to work harder to access your home, and most of them won't bother. Start with your window screens. Walk through every room. Look at every screen. Are there tiers, even small ones? A hole the size of a pencil eraser is enough. Flies don't need much space. If you find damage, you have two options. Patch it with a screen repair kit or replace the entire screen. Patching works for small holes and costs a few dollars. Replacement is necessary for larger tiers or screens deteriorating overall. While you're inspecting, check how well the screen fits in the frame. Gaps along the edges let flies slip through even when the screen itself is intact. Press the screen firmly into the frame channel. If it's loose, replace the spline that holds it in place. Now let's talk about doors. Your front door, back door, garage entry, and any exterior door leading into your home. Close each one and look at the gap between the bottom of the door and the threshold. Can you see daylight? If yes, you're seeing the exact entry point flies use. Install door sweeps on every exterior door. These are rubber or brush strips that attach to the bottom edge of the door and seal the gap when closed. They cost between $5 and $15 per door and take about 10 minutes to install with a screwdriver. This one change blocks a major highway flies used to enter. Check the weather stripping around your door frames. This is the rubber or foam seal that runs along the sides and top of the door. Over time, it compresses, cracks, or falls off entirely. When that happens, you get gaps. Flies fit through those gaps easily. Replace any weather stripping that's damaged or missing. Peel off the old material, clean the surface, and press the new adhesive-backed strip into place. It's simple, it's cheap, and it works. Meanwhile, indigenous communities didn't have screens or weather stripping, but they understood barriers. They used smoke to repel insects, strategic airflow to create zones flies avoided, and hung herbs like mint, basil, and lavender near entry points. The principle was the same. Make it harder for pests to access living spaces. You're applying that same principle with modern materials, but the thinking is identical. Create layers of defense. Make entry difficult. Remove the invitation. Now inspect everywhere pipes, wires, or vents penetrate your exterior walls. Go outside and look at where your plumbing enters the house. where your electrical conduit runs through, where your dryer vent exits, where your HVAC lines pass through. You'll often find gaps around these penetrations because the holes drilled during installation were slightly larger than the pipes themselves. Those gaps are entry points. Seal them with caulk. Use quality exterior grade caulk that's rated for outdoor use and flexible enough to handle temperature changes. Apply it carefully around the entire circumference of each penetration. Let it cure for 24 hours. You've just closed off entry routes you didn't know existed. Your dryer vent deserves special attention. It's a large opening leading directly into your home, and while it has a flap that's supposed to close when the dryer isn't running, those flaps often stick open or break off entirely. Inspect yours. If it's damaged, replace it. If it's functional, but you're still seeing flies near it, install a mesh screen cover designed for dryer vents. These allow air to exhaust while blocking insects. Clean the vent regularly because lint buildup can hold the flap open and create nesting material. Attic vents, soffit vents, and gable vents also need screens. Many older homes have vents with openings large enough for flies to enter freely. Hardware stores sell vent screens specifically designed for these applications. Measure your vents, buy the right size screens, and secure them in place. If your vents already have screens, inspect them for damage just like you did with window screens. You've removed the attraction, you've sealed the entry points, but some flies are already inside, and others will find ways in despite your best efforts. This is where step 3 comes in. Natural traps and barriers. Traps provide passive capture without requiring you to hunt flies down individually. The apple cider vinegar trap is the most effective homemade option. Here's the formula. Take a small bowl or jar. Pour in half an inch of apple cider vinegar. Add 2 drops of dish soap. The vinegar attracts flies because it smells like fermenting fruit. The dish soap breaks the surface tension of the liquid. Flies land on the surface expecting to stand on it, but instead they sink and drown. Place these traps strategically. One near your kitchen trash can, one by your fruit bowl if you keep one near your compost container if you have indoor composting, one in any room where you've noticed flies congregating. Change the traps every 3 to 4 days. They lose effectiveness as the vinegar evaporates and dead flies accumulate. This isn't complicated. It's consistent passive capture that reduces the adult population while you're addressing the root causes. The wine bottle trap works on the same principle, but uses a different attractant. Pour an inch of red wine into an empty wine bottle. Leave it uncapped. Flies are attracted to the fermentation smell, enter the narrow neck of the bottle, and can't figure out how to escape. It sounds too simple to work, but it does. Place these near entry points or anywhere you're seeing activity. Sticky tape strips hung near windows catch flies that are trying to exit toward light. This is important because flies orient toward light sources when they're trying to escape. They fly toward your windows repeatedly. A sticky strip positioned there captures them passively. But here's what most people miss. They trap the adults they can see. They feel like they're winning. Then a week later, flies are back in the same numbers. Why? Because they never address step 4. Step 4 is about larvae. It's about eggs. It's about the 95% of the fly population you're not seeing. If you trap 50 adult flies but leave 500 eggs untouched, you'll be fighting the same battle in 10 days. Different fly species breed in different locations. Drain flies breed in biofilm inside your drain pipes. Fruit flies prefer fermenting organic material like overripe fruit and garbage disposal residue. House flies need decaying matter with higher protein content, which is why they're attracted to pet waste and compost piles. Find where they're breeding and eliminate those conditions. Let's start with drains. Every time you wash dishes or rinse food down the sink. Small particles stick to the inside of your pipes. Over time, these combine with soap scum, grease, and bacteria to form biofilm. Biofilm is a slimy layer that coats pipe walls. It's warm, it's moist, it's rich in organic matter. Drainfly larvae feed on it and develop from egg to adult entirely within your pipes. Once a week, bring a large pot of water to a rolling boil. Pour it slowly down every drain. Follow with half a cup of white vinegar. Let it sit for 10 minutes. The vinegar breaks down organic material and inhibits bacterial growth. After 10 minutes, flush with cold water. This disrupts the breeding environment. It costs almost nothing, but you have to do it consistently. For stubborn infestations, use enzyme-based drain cleaner. These products contain bacteria and enzymes that digest organic material in your pipes. Pour the recommended amount down the drain before bed. Do this once a week for a month, then monthly for maintenance. Now let's talk about your garbage disposal. Your disposal grinds food, but particles get stuck in the splash guard, grinding chamber, and downstream pipes. Those particles decay. Fruit flies detect the fermentation smell and lay eggs directly in the disposal. Clean it weekly. Turn it off and unplug it. Lift the rubber splash guard and scrub underneath with a brush and soapy water. This is where buildup hides. Rinse thoroughly. Then run cold water and grind a handful of ice cubes mixed with coarse salt. The ice and salt scrub the grinding chamber. Follow with half a lemon to clean and deodorize. Run cold water for 30 seconds after grinding. Compost bins are breeding sites if not managed correctly. Indoor compost containers need tight-fitting lids. Empty them daily if possible, every other day at most. Don't let organic material sit and ferment inside your home. If you're composting outdoors, your pile needs regular turning, once a week minimum. Turning aerates the pile, raises internal temperature, and buries surface material where flies would lay eggs. A properly maintained hot compost pile reaches temperatures that kill fly eggs and larvae. Pet waste is a major housefly attractant. If you're cleaning up the yard once a week, you're giving flies 7 days to lay eggs in fresh waste. Those eggs hatch. The larvae develop. By the time you clean up, the next generation is already maturing. Clean pet waste daily. Dispose of it in sealed bags. If you have a litter box, scoop it daily and keep it in a well-ventilated room. Check your potted plants. Overwatering creates saturated soil where fungus gnats breed. Let the top inch of soil dry out between waterings. If you already have fungus gnats, let the soil dry more than usual to kill larvae, then adjust your watering schedule. You can top dress soil with sand or gravel to create a physical barrier. Outdoor trash cans need weekly cleaning just like indoor ones. Rinse them with a hose. Scrub the inside with soapy water. Let them dry in the sun. Flies breed in trash cans even when you're using bags because bags leak and residue accumulates. If you skip this, you're maintaining a breeding site right outside your door. Wet mops, cleaning rags, and sponges left damp become breeding sites. After you clean, rinse these items thoroughly and hang them to dry completely. Flies are opportunistic. They'll use any moist organic material you provide. This is the system. These 4 steps aren't separate tactics. They're interconnected layers of defense. Step 1 removes the attraction. Step 2 blocks entry points. Step 3 captures adults. Step 4 eliminates breeding sites. When you execute all 4 together, you're not just killing flies. You're dismantling the conditions that allow them to exist. Think about it. Most people only operate at step 3. They set traps. They spray insecticide. They kill adults. Then they're confused when flies return a week later. They return because you never addressed steps 1, 2, or 4. You never removed the attraction. You never sealed entry points. You never disrupted the breeding cycle. You were managing symptoms. You weren't solving the problem. This approach requires a shift in how you think about pest control. You're not fighting an enemy. You're correcting design flaws in how you manage your household. Flies are just feedback. They're telling you where organic material is accumulating, where moisture is pooling, where entry points exist, where breeding conditions persist. When flies appear, they're showing you exactly what needs attention. Here's the maintenance schedule. Weekly. Flush all drains with boiling water and vinegar. Clean your garbage disposal. Empty and clean indoor trash cans. Check for and remove overripe produce. Scoop pet waste daily, but deep clean the yard weekly. Turn your compost pile. Monthly. Inspect window screens. Check door sweeps and weather stripping. Examine pipe penetrations for gaps. Clean outdoor trash cans. Replace traps. Seasonally, recaulk areas where gaps form. Deep clean behind appliances. Inspect attic and soffit vents. This is about 10 minutes per week once you establish the routine. That's less time than you're currently spending swatting flies. You don't need commercial pest control services charging monthly fees. You don't need electronic zappers. You don't need chemical sprays. You need observation, consistency, and understanding of the system that creates flies. Meanwhile, indigenous communities managed pests for centuries without those products. They observed patterns. They removed attractions. They created barriers. They disrupted breeding cycles using smoke, herbs, strategic waste management, and physical exclusion. You're applying the same principles with modern materials. Start with step 1 today. Walk through your kitchen right now. What's sitting out? What surfaces are wet? What trash needs emptying? What drains need flushing? Fix those things first. The attraction is the foundation. Remove it, and the rest of the system has less work to do. Then move to step 2 tomorrow. Inspect your screens and doors. Seal what needs sealing. Then set your traps for step 3. Then address breeding sites for step 4. Build the system in layers. You now understand why flies keep coming back despite everything you've tried. You've been treating symptoms. You're about to start addressing causes. Flies aren't random. They're predictable. They follow the same patterns every time. Food plus water plus warmth plus entry points plus breeding sites equals flies. Remove any part of that equation, and the population crashes. Remove all parts, and you don't have a fly problem anymore. You have a home that doesn't invite them, doesn't house them, and doesn't breed them. That's the difference between fighting and designing. Stop fighting. Start designing.